So you're thinking about getting a Mark II Boss Katana and you want a combo, but there's the 50, the 100, the 100 212, and the Artist, and you're not sure which one is for you. So I've made this video to go over some of the differences between those amps, and so you can decide which one is the best for you. Hello fellow guitar geeks, I'm back with the Katanas and I'm finally going to answer the question that I get asked the most about these amps, and that is which one should I get? Before we go any further, please note that I'm leaving the head out of this because today we're just covering combos. Okay. If you want to skip to which amp I recommend, then I'll put some timestamps down below this video, but I really recommend you watch the whole video so you understand the reasons for my recommendations. So, let's take a look at the main differences between the Katana 50, the Katana 100, the Katana 100 212, and the Katana Artist.
It's not about the watts.
Now, Boss named the Katana amps after the watts that they have. So the Katana 50 has 50 watts, the Katana 100 and the 100 212 has 100 watts, and the Artist has 100 watts, but they're shinier, more creative, more expensive watts. You may be wondering, what is a watt? Which is very fun to say. A watt is a measurement of power, and in the guitar amplifier world, that translates to how loud is the amp. The first thing, which is possibly the most important thing when choosing a Katana, is do not let the wattage of the amp be the reason you choose that amp. A lot of us are home players and just play in our bedrooms or living rooms and worry that the 100 watts or the Artist might be too loud. However, all of the Katanas can be put in 0.5 watts mode, so the 50 is actually no quieter than the 100 or the Artist in that mode. It might sound a little different, but it's roughly the same. Conversely, people wonder, is the Katana 50 enough if I'm going to be in a band? Well, the Katana 50 is loud enough to keep up with most drummers. So if you think the Katana 50 is not loud enough, it probably is, even for gigging. And if you think the Artist or the 100 is too loud for home playing, it isn't. So once again, the wattage is not a reason to choose one model over another.
It's about the money.
The Katana 50 is the cheapest of all the Katanas, however, it's also the amp with the least features of all the Katanas. Here are some things the 50 does not have. Number 1, the 50 does not have an effects loop. It does have a power amp in, but that will cut off all the effects in the amp, so this just becomes a powered speaker. If you want to use a looper or any effects that should be in an effects loop, like a reverb or a delay or something like that, the 50 is probably not the amp for you. Number 2, although all the Katana combos have a 12-inch speaker, the 12-inch speaker in the 50 has a smaller magnet and is a cheaper speaker than any of the other amps. I do quite like the punky raspiness of this one though. Number 3, the 50 does not have a line out. So if you want to line out to a PA system and use the Katana as a monitor speaker, you can't do that. If you want to record with the Katana via a line out and use the Katana as a monitor speaker, you can't do that. You can use the record out just up here, however, that's going to mute the speaker in the cab. Number 4, the 50 is not compatible with the GAFC. So these wonderful buttons which access all the Katana's effects and features won't work with the Katana 50. It will work with a 2-button switch or a 1-button switch to switch the different presets, but it doesn't work with one of these. Number 5, the panel is on the top, so you can't see it if you're at the front. Number 6, the 50 only has space in its computing power to store 4 presets in 2 banks of 2, compared to its big brothers which have space for 8 presets. So if any of the things I've mentioned so far are an absolute deal breaker, then the Katana 50 is not for you.
Okay, what about the 100?
Do you get more for your money? Well, next up in the range is the Katana 100 and the 100 212. This has everything the 50 has, plus a little bit more. An upgraded 12-inch speaker, or 2 in the case of the 212. These have a larger magnet than the one in the 50, and it's capable of handling 100 watts. The sound is more rounded, more fuller, and less raspy and punky than the 50. It's got an effects loop! Yay! It's got stereo expand, meaning you can connect two katanas together and use the stereo effects in stereo. As a side note, you can use a 50 as the slave, but you will need to use it in conjunction with the 100 as a master. It's got a real line out, whereas the 50 only had the recording out and headphones, which would mute the internal speaker. The line out will keep this speaker active so you can still use the katana as a monitor speaker. The 100 has 8 presets in 2 banks of 4, and it has an onboard presence control. If you found the extra features ticked more boxes of things that you require, then maybe the 100 is for you. But if you want more, there's the Katana Artist.
The Artist.
The Katana Artist. The flagship of the range and the ultimate katana experience. It's also the most expensive one in the range, so let's find out if the extra features are actually worth it. The Artist comes with the G12W Wazacraft speaker, which again is an upgraded speaker, but this time we're talking top tier. It really is something different compared to the other 2 speakers and the other 2 combos. Whereas the 100 and the 50 can sometimes lack in bottom end and bass and feeling that makes you go, "Urgh," this thing really does sound full, and it is a totally different playing experience. The Artist has a speaker out, which means you can run an external cab off this and get an even bigger sound. It also has MIDI controllability, meaning that you can control all the functions of the amp with a MIDI controller, foot switch, anything that has MIDI and can send signals to something can control the Katana Artist. That's pretty cool, even though I don't use it. I don't really dive into MIDI, but if that's your thing, that's got it. I love the way the Artist sounds, however, for me, the most exciting feature of the amp is the front panel. Because when you're gigging, or if you're doing what I do and you're in a recording studio or whatever, you don't want to be leaning over the back of the amp when an amp has this many knobs. And if it's a dark stage or something, it's nigh on impossible to see what's going on back there. And at least here, like if I was doing a video with it now playing and changing stuff, I could do it without having to lean over there. And I think that's an absolute game changer. Might seem like something small, but for me, it's huge. The Artist also has this solo feature, which you can engage with this button just down there, or you can engage it with a single channel foot switch, or in conjunction with the GAFC. So when your guitar is just not loud enough, kick in the solo mode. Also on that front panel is the Contour 3-way switch and the global EQ, which allows for even more tone shaping. So you can preset this from the Katana software, the Boss Tone Studio, and then have 3 settings on here and the global EQ to change easily live without a computer. If you need even more tone shaping, the cab resonance is here to save the day. Again, on the wonderful front panel, we've got vintage, modern, and deep, which you can switch in the software, but on the Artist, you can switch it just here. Note, you can also switch the cab resonance on the 100 to 1.2. So if any one of those features feels absolutely necessary for you, like the front panel, then this Artist could be the cat for you.
My back hurts just looking at an amp.
Let's talk about weight. The 50 weighs 11.6 kilograms, or 25.6 pounds. The 100 weighs 14.8 kilograms, or 32.6 pounds. The Artist weighs in at 19 kilograms, or 41.9 pounds. And the 100 212 is the heaviest of all at 19.8 kilograms, or 43 pounds. It is kind of crazy how light the 50 is, and if weight is an issue, so if you're using like public transport or you're just not into lifting heavy amps, then you'll have no issues with this. The 100 is actually not that much heavier, so maybe try both of them, but this one's really light.
Size is everything.
When it comes to size, this is the 50 and this is the Artist, so you can see the difference between those two models. And here is the 100, which is kind of smack bang in the middle of those two sizes. The 212, the 100 watt, is even bigger than the Artist, which is insane, but of course it's got to house those two 12-inch speakers. The size of the 50 makes it very attractive. Okay, which katana should you buy?
The 50?
The Katana 50, due to its size, its weight, its price, its feature list, its sound, is one of the best amps we guitar players have ever had available to us. And if your wallet can only stretch as far as the 50 and you know you don't need those extra features, when you know you don't need them, then that's the time that the 50 is for you.
The 100?
So what about the 100? Well, online I've seen many people in the social medias having bought the 50 or were going to buy the 50 and then change their mind and try and return the 50 and get the 100. Mainly because of those extra features, the effects loop for the looper, and they didn't know that the effects loop didn't work. Or the other reason, that the fact that the 50 doesn't work with the GAFC and the 100 does. That happened to me, in fact. I took the 50 and the 100 home from the shop that I was allowed to take them home. They were very kind to me here in Austria. And I had both amps. And I tested them in this room many eons ago, and I ended up taking the 50 back because the 100 justified the extra spend. And I still make that decision today. I still think the 100 was the right choice for me. So what about the 100 212? Well, you might notice that I don't have one. And the reason is I don't really know why that amp exists, because it doesn't have the features of the Artist. It's kind of the same as the 100, but with a bigger sound with 2 speakers, but it is considerably heavier and considerably bigger. And I just don't think that that amp has the benefits of that size, of that weight. I think that you're much better off either going for the 100 or the Artist. Saying that, if any of you own the 100 212, please let me know in the comments your experience and why you went for that amp, because I've never really heard of anyone playing that one. So let me know down there, please.
Maybe the Artist.
Ah, the Artist. The speaker, the MIDI, the front panel, the price. The price puts it firmly out of the budget amp range. And if you're looking for a budget amp, this is not it. However, this amp is a totally different beast to its siblings. Even though it's got the same brain, you've got all these features which are readily available on the front panel. You've got the upgraded speaker. This amp, even though it's expensive, sounds like it's even more expensive than it actually is. So if you can deal with the weight and the size and the price, and you want to have bragging rights for all your friends and other guitar players you know, go for the Artist. It won't disappoint. It really is the best. That's all the features of all the amps that I think need covering, but if you still can't make a decision, I will shortly summarize each of the 4 amps.
Too long, didn't read.
If money is the biggest factor, the 50 is extremely impressive for the price, and you get a lot of amp for your money. If you plan on expanding your rig at some point and you're teetering on the edge of getting the 100, I suggest you save for a little bit longer, get the 100. It's the better choice. Also, if you've never tried a Katana and you're buying one without being able to experience playing it, get the 100. If you've got the money and you've heard good things about Katana, or you've tried the 100 or 50 and thought the sound wasn't quite full enough for you, or you just want biggest bragging rights, the Artist is truly an amazing amp that will not let you down. It's brilliant. Okay, now the decision is yours. I hope I've helped you today, because that's a question I get so often, and I thought the easiest way for me to answer it is to make this video. And if you are decided on buying a Katana, then there's some links below this video. If you buy it from one of those links, then I get a small kickback at no extra cost to you. So those are affiliate links, and use them, and then I get some money. I can buy food and guitars. Thanks. That's it for me today. Thank you to Boss for helping me make this video. Also, thank you to you for watching. If you want more of me, there are videos floating around your screen right now, or you can subscribe and smash the bell and all that sort of stuff. And I'll be back very soon, or even right now. Bye-bye.